Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. In 1987, director Brian De Palma introduced us to an American crime film called The Untouchables. It was produced by Art Linson, and the film stars Kevin Costner, Charles Martin Smith, Andy Garcia, Robert De Niro, and Sean Connery. Its setting is 1930 Chicago, and it follows Elliot Ness, played by Costner, as he forms the Untouchables, which is a team to bring down Al Capone, played by De Niro, and bring him to justice during Prohibition. The movie is based on some real-life events, though most of its plot is completely fictionalized. The score in the film is amazing and was composed by Ennio Morricone. The film premiered in June of 1987 in New York City and went on to general release on June 3, 1987, across the United States. The project grossed $106 million worldwide and received generally positive reviews from most of the critics. It was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Connery won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. While casting was taking place, the producer and the director De Palma wanted to have a more tender portrayal of Ness than Robert Stack's tough portrayal from the 1950 television series. They really sought to portray him as a vulnerable family man. Initially, they went after Don Johnson to play the role of Ness. They also thought about Mickey Rourke, Jeff Bridges, William Hurt, Harrison Ford, and Michael Douglas, but they all turned the role down. In the 1985 issue of Variety, they announced the casting of Jack Nicholson as Ness, but he was ultimately replaced by Kevin Costner in the role. In preparation for his role as Elliot Ness, Kevin Costner met with former FBI agent and Untouchable Al Wolf at his home in Linwood. He did this to develop a more historical context to what was happening and to learn more about Ness's mannerisms from somebody that had worked with him. Robert De Niro was De Palma's first choice to play Al Capone, but it was uncertain at that point whether or not he could appear in the film because he was involved in a Broadway play at that time. You see, prior to playing Capone, De Niro wanted to gain about 30 pounds because De Niro was very concerned about the shape of his face for this part. Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando were also considered as options just in case De Niro was unable to perform the role. His research for this character included reading all about him and watching historical footage of him. He even tracked down Capone's original tailors and had them make some identical clothing that he used to wear for the film. He also insisted on wearing the same style of silk underwear that Al Capone wore, even though it would never be seen on camera. The producers, knowing De Niro's reputation as a method actor, gave in to this weird request. In the film, you see an envelope be dropped off at the desk of Ness in one scene. It's assumed to be a bribe, but the amount inside is never revealed. In real life, Capone had promised Ness that 2 $1,000 bills would be on his desk every Monday morning if he turned a blind eye to his bootlegging activities. Now, this was an enormous amount of money back then. It would be more than $30,000 in today's dollars. Ness refused the bribe, and in the later years of his life, really struggled with money, and he died almost completely broke at the age of 54. As a matter of fact, Ness and his role in bringing down Al Capone had been completely forgotten at the time of his death in 1957. No Chicago newspaper at all carried the news of his passing. His heroic reputation only began with the posthumous publication of the Untouchables book he had co-written with Oscar Fraley, and the Untouchables television series that was adapted from it. The movie portrays Ness as being happily married, and he and his wife having a daughter and a baby son. In real life, he had been married 3 times, and the only child he had ever had was an adopted son named Robert. Despite what you see in the film, that final courtroom scene in the movie never really happened because Al Capone and Ness never came face to face during their battles. It's said that Sean Connery turned up to the shoot one day in his golf shoes. They did a few close-ups and Sean was dismissed for the day. Andy Garcia and Charles Martin Smith grabbed him after the scene and said, "That was very clever of you. You just get back from golf, turn up for 5 minutes, and do your scene, and that's it." Connery turned right back to them and said, "This is not my first barbecue, guys." Although Connery appeared in well over 70 films and had won numerous movie awards, like 3 Golden Globes, during his highly successful career, his role in this movie resulted in his only Academy Award win during his career, which was bestowed upon him during the 1988 ceremony. Kevin Costner tells a great story about how one day during shooting, after the scene is over, he and Sean Connery are standing there talking to some other people. As the conversations continue, Costner notices a very cute girl standing behind the barricades, motioning for him to come over there. He continues the conversation with whoever he's talking to, and then once that's concluded, he walks over to this gorgeous girl, expecting for her to be super excited that he's taken the time out to come see her and sign an autograph for her. But as soon as he got up to her, she immediately said, "Would you mind getting Sean Connery's autograph for me?" Costner has to laugh about it now, but at the time, it seemed like the biggest slap in the face that Sean Connery could ever give him. Go back and watch this movie. It's one of those that you can watch over and over, and it seems to never get old. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.